वेलकम, गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू। काफ़ी लॉन्ग टाइम से हमने गैप लिया था इन आवर इंस्टाग्राम लाइव पॉडकास्ट, क्योंकि हम लोग चैनलाइज कर रहे थे कि व्हाट वी शुड ब्रिंग न्यू टू यू, समथिंग रिलेटेड टू education, something related to encouraging people. So here we are again live. I am Zehra and I am the host for this entire podcast, and what we have brought is something very different this time. So previously we were only focusing on something related to education or entertainment, like actors were there, founders were there, but right now we have also made one more kind of change in our podcast, that we shall bring more about fitness, then sports, and lot of into arms and ammunitions, Indian forces, and so many other concepts what we have brought upon in our live podcast. So today what we are going to do is we are going to have one amazing coach which is from football, and his name is Ryan Roy Shah. He is having his academy in Pune, and when we're talking about his so Ryan has already been with us on Instagram, and we are supposed to connect him. So hi Ryan, and his experience, what we can say, he has 9 years of experience into football coaching, and he is a founder of Pune Pioneers Football Club, and he is a licensed coach. So quickly we'll have Ryan on our podcast. Hi Ryan, how are you? A very good evening and warm welcome to this amazing podcast, where we are also putting up a lot of things in related to sports right now, and we are so lucky to have you as a good mentor in football, a licensed mentor who can really bring change in the youth.
Well,
Can
I
you just
love
introduce
that.
yourself?
I love that grand introduction, Zehra, and it's been an absolute privilege to be invited on this show. I'm really looking forward to talking about the best game in the world.
So Ryan, about your experience, can you just let us know that how did football, really encourage and motivate you to be in this background, to be in this field, and to coach young
Yes.
aspiring youth also?
Yeah, I think football is the only thing I know in life. Like, if you get football out of my life, I guess I'm very, I would say, limited in skill, perhaps limited in education, limited in capability and everything. So football basically has given me everything. And I've been fortunate to have been in club level football since I was 13 years old. Was fortunate to play for a couple of reputed clubs in Mumbai, and then also was in the UK for a couple of years. And and then I just thought that coaching is the next thing that comes after playing. So yeah, I'm very privileged to be in the position I am.
Okay, so Ryan, about your academy, about how you inspire the young children for just in their college, in their schools, to join football as a sport.
Yeah, so I believe that our job is to give a platform. So we have Pune Pioneers is an All India Football Federation accredited academy, which means we have, kind of met the expectations of the national governing body of football in India. On top of that, we play in various leagues. So, around 8 to 10 leagues in a year. So for all the kids that are in our program, I think our job is to, number one, give them the platform to shine, to showcase their ability, of course, with the aim of going to a bigger and better place, hopefully a professional club eventually. And to fuel that, of course, we have some tremendously good coaches in our staff, great physio, some amazing people in the operations staff. And we also give some top facilities to our players. I think we are very pompous about the fact that we have two 11-a-side AstroTurf football grounds that we train on. And we also offer gym, swimming, physiotherapy, sauna, ice bath, jacuzzi to all our residential academy players.
Okay. So Ryan, about how how did this sport really attract you first of all, and what is your experience into this? How many you have played matches, with whom you have played? Can you share those experiences?
So, like a quintessential Indian, I started off playing cricket, of course. And, I still have fond memories, fresh memories as a kid, perhaps at the age of 9. That is when I was introduced to the sport first. And actually, many people wouldn't believe me on this, but I was quite frightened of the sport because, playing cricket, suddenly you see one ball, so many players after it, and
Yeah,
clashing,
true.
physical, people getting hurt. So my first impression of the sport was that this isn't for me. I think it's safer to be out of it. But one day I was just forced to play the sport, and then there was no looking back. Thereafter, the adrenaline rush it gives, the unity it gives, the team bonding it gives, the opportunity to connect with so many new people. I mean, that's second to none. That's an
Yeah,
experience that
true.
you can't really pay for. So that is that. And with regards to the matches, see, I mean, I'm not a big fan of talking about, me as a player because that was like, 10, 15 years ago. But, the kids, like my entire focus is the kids we have. We started off as a local six-a-side team. Six-a-side meaning, these very local, small-sided six players playing against amateur opponents. And today we play in the biggest youth tournament in the country, which is the AIFF Youth League. And we also have a senior team that's in the Thane TFA Elite Division,
Yeah.
Elite Premier League. So yeah, it's been quite a journey with a lot of hard work, a lot of effort from our players, from our staff, and yeah, we are where we are right now.
Correct. So, who has been your you can say role model or anybody into football? Whom
Ah,
do
role
you?
model. Yeah,
Yeah.
so now, because I kind of wear multiple hats, meaning I'm, of course, originally a coach, happen to be a founder of a club, happen to have to look at the finances, look at the marketing aspects, look at everything. It's a logistics at on sometimes. I would say auditing, HR. There's so much that one has to do when you're running a club because that's where the business aspect comes in. So
Correct.
I would say, from a coaching perspective, in world football, of course, it is the legendary Sir Alex Ferguson, the iconic Manchester United coach. And in India, Dronacharya, Bimal Ghosh. These are the two, coaches that I took inspiration from, and it's of course their training was phenomenal. The way they coach players, taught players, that was great. But more importantly, they worried about aspects that usually coaches would ignore. For example, are you on time or before time? Are you appropriately dressed? Are you giving a firm handshake to your teammates? Are you being a good teammate around? And they both of them were quite ruthless. So even if there was an amazing player, if they did not fit into the culture, then they were sent out very quickly. So that is from a coaching perspective. From a business perspective, I would say I'm quite inspired by the story of Brighton, Crystal Palace. These are Athletic Bilbao. These are clubs all around the world who have kind of made a very successful self sustainable model that is economically long term viable. Yeah.
Right. Also, when I was just going through your profile, you have also been into, like, you are a qualified sportsman. So, being into, like, you have done masters also. So, share something about that as well.
So I am a master's degree holder in sports science and high performance, postgrad diploma in football management, multiple coaching licenses, UFRB, AFCB, and all that kind of stuff. But one of my most controversial statements I make everywhere is that qualifications is not the most important thing. it doesn't take, it's not rocket science to complete qualifications. It's always the experience. It's always after the qualifications what we're doing. So the qualifications has only been a good, I would say, impression when we are meeting new people that yes, this is what I've got, this is what I've academically. But once you're on the field, your qualifications don't matter. It's all about, all the multiple experiences you've had that then trigger judgments that you have to make in a split second. So yeah, I'm not a big yes, I've done a lot of qualifications, but I don't
But
value
for the
it too
youth,
much.
education is must. That's one.
100% for the youth, the education is completely non-negotiable. I mean, I'm saying this because I've got the qualifications, and after getting the qualifications, I've had a bit of success in what I'm doing. That's why. But for the youth, it is one cannot compromise on education because we don't know where the career is going to take us. Unfortunately,
Correct.
football
That's
is
what
a
I was also about to put it. Because see,
yeah.
you are into like you are coaching, but then you are
Yes.
handling multiple things. Like you are into
Yes.
operations, you're into HR. If you
Yeah.
are not educated that much, then you don't have that particular knowledge about where you have to put your efforts and where you
Yes.
don't have to put your efforts.
Yeah, for sure. And I keep telling all the kids that let's say you are worst case scenario, you have given your life to the sport, and by chance at 16 you have a really bad injury and you have to give up the sport. If education isn't there, then you don't really have any backing. Now let's assume that you're the world's best footballer, an absolute millionaire, billionaire. You still have to retire at 35, but then you're going to live till you're 70, 80, 90. What do you do from the age of 35 till when you die? And that is when that education aspect comes in. There are a lot of good examples of top level footballers who, because of the education, have are currently holding very senior roles in management, operational as well, and sorry, administrative as well as I would say ownership positions at different organizations. So yes, education, to summarize, it's a non-negotiable. In my view, in the current day and age, everyone should complete minimum of a master's degree. Absolute minimum. A bachelor's is of no use in the current generation. Masters, and after that, if you find something that works for you, then of course you can make controversial statements like I do that that
Yeah, that's
degree
your
doesn't mean everything.
yeah.
Yes.
But then according because when I was just going through your profile and
Yeah.
I was so inspired that having being in the field for a long time, but then simultaneously you have that baggage of qualification. So how, as a founder, you know how to deal with a lot of things. Like when you are into finance, you're dealing with finance. When you're dealing HR,
Yeah.
right mindset, you're into operations and you
Yeah.
back end and
Yeah.
everything. So that is plus point when after your retirement you want to pursue any other experiences and career, you have that plus point in your baggage. That is
Definitely.
one very important thing because now in today's time youths feel that after you are at a certain position in any I have also taken a podcast of one of the ex joint secretary of cricket association. If you have
Yes.
gone to my profile, so he also has mentioned that same thing that I want the young youth to focus on education as well as on sports because education, if you are leaving the education just because you have fame, but what about the next line down the line after
Yeah.
35 when you're retiring, what will be your scope of career
Yeah.
and what will you do? Because as a
100%.
founder also you should have that much knowledge and experience that you have to start a company or you want to work in any organization or you want to spread awareness about sports. For that also
Yeah.
you need
You need
a
it.
lot of knowledge.
Definitely. You need a foundation for that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So also about sports, like what kind of exercises you recommend to the younger kids?
Okay, so if it is to do with fitness and they are footballers, the first thing I always say is play as much football as possible because the benefit with football is that it's multi-directional, high on the high demands of endurance, demands of speed, demands of agility. So the best way to start off is, get a ball, get a few friends, have as many matches as possible. If there are two of you, have a one versus one. If there are three of you, have a one versus two. If there are 11 of you, have a 11v11. As much as possible, as because the technical side is also important, and the more you play, people don't realize that the more the fitness they develop, and that's why even, okay, fine, we are at a much at an elite level and all that, but even at when we are talking about grassroots or even let's say adults, if there are gyms and there are fitness centers, there are health clubs that actually nowadays encourage recreational football to take place between, let's say, people 50 plus 60 plus, because of the benefits that come with playing football. Now if they want to, once someone has enough capability of lasting in football at any level, it could be even, let's say, a 10-minute match where everyone is unfit, as long as they feel that they can complete those 10 minutes easily, then move on to the next part, which is have your own, let's say, gym routine, 2 days 3 days a week, plyometrics. You could have maybe incline running. There are so many exercises. It's difficult to suggest one exercise or a set of exercises to the mass audience, because every body is different, every body's requirement is different, and more important than that is the nutrition part. You need that fuel. For the elite footballers, of course, we always tell them to stick to the 60% carbohydrate rule. And for the general public, I would say at least try and aim for a balanced diet. Because if you ask me what's more important, exercise or nutrition, I would always say nutrition.
Okay. And about how many matches you have played, and like I can see back a lot of trophies
Yeah.
which are there. So your achievements. Talk about that. Something to our.
So see, the club was founded. We were officially registered as Mega Pro Football Academy, and this was in 2017 when we registered as a private limited company. From 2018 to 2021, as I said, we were originally a local six-a-side team. We were every weekend. I remember we were all around Pune and sometimes also in Bombay. And wherever we went, now see, we, of course, I am very boastful that wherever we went, our minimum finish in any tournament was semi-final. And also, by the way, many of those trophies, I mean, I can just show it around. Yes, it's all full of these.
Yeah.
But many of them are not. So we have a lot of first place trophies. There are some second place trophies also over there, runner-up trophies. All part of the journey. We started off with a lot of defeats in semi-finals. Then the players, because of the experience they were getting playing so many matches, then reaching finals became a regular occurrence. And then after playing, I would say maybe minimum of 40-50 matches, that is when we started becoming champions regularly. So this was all the way till 2021 December. And that's when, now me being a football crazy guy, with a limitless ambition of reaching the pinnacle of Indian football, I decided that now let's rebrand the club, think bigger, put in serious money into this project, and really be recognized as one of the best, at least in the city. So then we rebranded to Pune Pioneers Football Club, because we wanted the audience of Pune to understand that there is a big club in the future coming up from their city. And we want people to support us, we want people to love us, we want people to really be associated with us, not just as, let's say, fee paying parents and players, even as, you could say, general fans coming to our matches and making a bit of noise. And then over there, suddenly we went from, once we were Pune Pioneers Football Club, we went from these local six-a-side tournaments to actually registering with the Pune District Football Association's league. So started playing there, then played in then got affiliated to the Thane Football Association in Navi Mumbai. Played, then suddenly we were now playing official leagues. And same thing over there, we were not successful in the first attempt, because I have this belief that if there's a young player who I think is shows potential, immediately we put them on the field and let them prove it. We are not into this age bias that we want experienced players. Someone's good enough, we are an academy. At the end of the day, we need people to improve. So we used to play these young players here and there, and eventually we started getting results in the Thane first division, where we were champions in our third season, and then now we are at the topmost level over there. And the ambition doesn't halt. We are now looking at even bigger tournaments Hopefully, we have a senior team, basically an adults team. My dream is to have a set of 25 players each in our men's team and our women's team playing at the top level of Indian football. So throughout I would say the consistent element has been the number of matches we are giving everyone. That's basically what it is. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Like
Yeah.
also when you're speaking about women, it's so motivating that women's are also coming forward in the sports. Previously, we've seen that girls were not that motivated and were not toward the sport,
Yeah.
but now we have seen a lot of girls and women's coming out for sports in terms
Yes.
of cricket, badminton, tennis, and right now I'm getting to know about football as well.
This is one of my favorite topics because, and I keep showing off. So if you look at our logo right over here, so there is basically now this is a male player and this is a female player. So
Yeah.
basically, so one thing that's very strong for me is gender equality. And I
Correct.
really mean it from the bottom of my heart that I strongly believe that the female gender in football has not got equal opportunities, enough opportunities. It's not that they are any less than males. Of course, the physiological aspects wise, males will be better at football.
Your
However, the, yeah,
your voice was breaking in the between.
sorry, yeah. However, if we start taking women's football seriously, there's a fact that the Indian women's national team has a higher rank than the Indian men's national team. I can guarantee you something that, everyone talks about when will the Indian football team play the World Cup. It's the Indian football team will play the World Cup soon, and it's going to be the Indian women's national team that's going to be playing the World Cup soon. Now, this was, of course, something we realized long back, and we are very serious about our women's program. We are a women's team, a coach, a male coach, but who's very dedicated to getting the women's program developed. We in fact have currently now we have a residential academy, which means so we have a residential and a non-residential. And I'll tell you the difference. So the non-residential academy is the typical evening academy where players come for 1 hour, 3 days a week. They polish their skills, get their coaching, and go back. Then there's a residential program where basically we have players from all over India who have come into our program where it's a big responsibility. We take care of their stay, their food, their education, their medical, their gym, their pool. Everything is taken care of by us. And why I'm telling you this aspect here is that we have currently 8 players, 8 females, I actually compliment their parents for taking this brave step in a male dominant sport to send their daughters. In our responsibility, we in fact where we are right now, I'm at my residential academy where we have one independent wing which is dedicated for only our women players and our women staff. I must also show off on one thing which I'm very proud of. We are one of the few teams in India, clubs in India, where we have one female coach, we have one female physio. We have a couple of females working in our back end. We are playing the Monsoon Super League. That's a tournament that's going on right now, and our male under 17 head coach is a female coach. So
Oh,
yes, and by the way, she's currently second on the table on the league, and we are playing our semi final on Sunday, which I'm pretty confident she's going to win that. Then we are going to play the final. She's going to win that, and happy days. We'll have a female coach as champion of our men's under 17 team. So we are very dedicated in that sense. We have these 8 girls who are staying in that wing. They train with the boys. We are particular about that. We want our girls to be training with the boys because I want that kind of competition. Because then once they train regularly with the boys and they're good enough there, playing against other girls becomes a piece of cake. So this is why. So I would say we are very apart from all the wins we have had, all the players we have developed, I'm quite proud of the fact that we are very true to our sense of dedication towards gender equality.
And when you're talking about gender equality, I also wanted to understand. So, are you all also focusing on something related to training related to safety for girls, for boys? Obviously, it is very important that girls and
Yes.
boys should be aware of certain restrictions and certain boundaries. So, you all give that training as well.
Yes. So this is of course the risk. So many of our male students' parents, when they come for admission, many of them ask us that how come you have a male wing and a female wing on the same campus? Now we have, of course, made our infrastructure wise, we have made our boundaries so that one can't access the other. They can only meet in open in common areas, all that and all that. But we are very strict in our education with the males and the females that one, they all get social media training. All our players get social media training that that you're minors, you're under the age of 18, you're not allowed to take something as simple as the Instagram ID of the opposite gender. Number two, you can restrict the physical touch only to a handshake. Anything more than that is not approved. These are the kind of simple aspects. Now there is one more thing that I'm very direct about, which I think I want this culture to change in India, where people are not open about talking about things about this. Let's talk about, for example, the how, let's say, disposing of sanitary napkins. Now, this is something that's a taboo in India. People don't want to talk about it openly. Over here, we teach this to, of course, our females, because in our female wing we have got a separate designated area where they can dispose of their sanitary napkins. We also talk to the males that this is what it is. This is how it is, because after all, they are going to be fathers one day. They will have daughters. So why should we not talk about something like this? May as well tell them this as early as possible. Let them be aware, because if we are a gender equal club, it cannot only be towards the football development. It has to be towards life, and also,
Everything.
yes, everything basically. So yeah, this is something I'm very passionate about our club.
So it's really, really very amazing and inspiring that you are making this a topic which a lot of people will see through our podcast, and they will follow it in their academy also, in their institutions also, because most of the times we don't talk about these
Yes.
things in common, and because of lack of information, there are so many people who are going on the wrong path, even in terms of education. So I met few of the players when I was taking the podcast of this ex-joint secretary of the cricket association in Mumbai. That time, that once they are on the field and they get that kind of you know brand endorsements and stuff. So they
Yeah.
say that education is not important. We already have made so much money that can secure our future. Then there are so many people who are talking negative about the gender equality part also, that these sports are made gender, gender playing, what to say, sports,
Yeah.
and why females are coming into it. But they should understand the concept that if, as in you know Indian, or as any citizen, you should focus on you should really focus on gender equality, and you should try to motivate your youth around your sister, your mother
Yeah.
around to join sports, because that is also one type of a physical fitness.
Yeah, yep, yep. So, a lot of people right now in India give lip service towards the topic of gender equality. Everyone says, yes, we should give females the opportunity to excel. But how many of them truly do it? So, that's why I'm very arrogant about the fact that a lot of people claim gender equality, but we are the ones that actually invest time, money, and resources to promote gender equality.
Yes, and apart from that, there's also one thing. It's not only about females, but it's also about all the genders in equal. There are so in the society there are so many people who would talk about this particular, after their changing their gender also they play. Right now there are so many players who have changed the gender and they're not playing because just of their internal changes which have occurred
Yes.
and they are out of the sports. For them also, they should be like one more step ahead. Our
Yeah.
country should give one more step ahead, and they should also allow them to play because sports is one thing which as a human gives you physical fitness
Yeah.
and plus the exploration towards your career. That
Yeah.
okay, the sports is something which will really make me ahead in the life,
Hmm.
and the sport can be something which will inspire the youth.
Yeah.
So it's really very important for all of us to meet such a amazing coach like you, who is really focusing on gender equality.
Yeah, now you touched on the third gender, right? So in Europe, fortunately, people have already started making progress there. I mean, associations, federations have started making progress.
Yeah,
So, like you have the LGBTQ football leagues. You have so basically, there's in a lot of places in Europe there is that openness that okay, each one of us is not the same. There will be different people with different who identify differently, different orientations, and we cannot really sideline them because they are still human beings at the end of the day. And I'm hoping that the All India Football Federation can gradually bring LGBTQ leagues in, because I think now people from the LGBTQ community are much more open about about how they identify, and I'm sure there are a lot of people from the LGBTQ community who are in football now. It is prevalent. One thing that I'm actually very happy about is that in the women's game, you have people who are you have girls who are what you would call homosexual, and they are very open about it. They play and many of them play for our country, play for the Indian national team. They are very open about it. They have no qualms. That this is who we are. The In the male game, of course, it's a stigma because culturally, people, heterosexual people, like a lot of us would for us it's a male, it's called a male sport.
yeah, yeah, correct.
It's that term, it's called a bloke sport, a male sport. There in India so far nobody has come out saying that no male player so far or someone of any significance has come out saying that they are that they identify as homosexuals. But yeah, this is hopefully the nation brings this openness into the culture so that
Yeah, actually, why I removed this topic is because I am mostly into these types of training. I'm also a coach. I'm also a mentor,
yes,
and I coach for prevention of sexual harassment at workplace and
yes,
POPSO, that is prevention of child sexual orientation,
yes,
and where I really, train parents, teachers, professors, students,
yes,
working professionals to have a balanced and equal training for all the gender. It should not be like, so I share one of my experiences in this
yeah,
podcast that when I train, there are some companies who would directly tell that this training like course should be given only to women because this training is prioritized to women because the title says that prevention of
yeah,
sexual harassment at workplace for women.
mm,
But when you see and when you read the entire concept, that's totally different.
yeah,
There are certain sections and certain articles which also say that a male should also understand this concept very perfectly. That
yeah,
if you are doing harassment, you are going to be in problem. Same way,
yeah,
a female is harassing a male, she is also going to be in problem.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not like only women are harassed at workplace or
yeah,
only one gender is harassed at one place.
yeah,
It's about all the person who's harassed at workplace can be in any type. People are also not aware about, people say that the harassment is only in one type.
yeah,
But there's so many types of other harassments also. Like in sports also there's physical harassment, there is mental harassment, there's psychological harassment.
yeah,
When you're playing, you're not, if you're not focused, that's something related to mental well-being of a person. So you should stay focused when you're playing sports, and for
yeah,
that also there are certain counselors on board. You must be having counselors
Yes,
who would,
yes.
kind of train mentally to these young people who are, really aspiring to join sports.
Yeah, yeah. So right now, in the current, what you call the Gen Z right now, the Generation Z that we are fortunate to be working with, there is there have been multiple occurrences that I've heard of in the sport where players, male and female, they end up kind of self-harming. So it could be taking a knife and just slicing their body. These are things that I was surprised at how many, like how frequently, how common it is. I was actually gobsmacked at how common it is. Stigmas come from lack of awareness. The more we talk about what is a stigma today, tomorrow it's going to become normality, and when it is normality, that is when perhaps a lot of these adverse situations wouldn't occur, because it becomes so normal to say that a great thing that I keep hearing in the sports world is that when a player is injured physically, they have no problem going to a physiotherapist, orthopedic, a doctor. But if they are not feeling right, they'll think 100 times before consulting a psychologist, a counselor, a psychiatrist. So that's why I think the more openly we talk about all this, the easier it's going to become for everyone in the future.
Yes, yes, true. Because it's not only in the sports, but it's also common that when we are now there are so many people who are coming up with this, that yeah, I had this problem and I have overcome this, and there are so many methods to overcome it. It's not like only going to a counselor and taking medicines. That is really I prefer that medicines are not that
Yeah,
healthy to have,
correct.
rather than going for a counseling, sitting and talking to a person and getting solutions out of it. So that's very impacting, that people should really go to a person who is guiding you well, mentor.
Yeah,
In our Indian society, I don't know why students don't approach directly to mentors. Also,
they don't.
mentors are the best counselors
Yeah,
in terms of any aspects, like in sports, if you're talking about, in education, mentors are the best person who can guide you.
yes,
They have one
yes.
psychology that mentors, they will take our idea, or they will do this, and they will, they will
Yeah,
take our idea and they will do their own way. They will go
yes,
out and they will
yes.
explore their own opportunities. And this psychology is really very, not very right, because
Yeah.
this message in the youth is like, everybody's
Mhm.
taking advantage of each other.
Right, right, right. No,
What
for
do you
sure.
say about it?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, with the biggest advantage with having a mentor in your own field, as someone you can rely upon, is that perhaps a lot of the situations that you're facing an issue with, there is a high chance that they have faced exactly that, and that's why it's better coming from someone already in the industry than someone external. So that's why I'm going to give you an examples that happened at our club. So we had one female player who wasn't feeling too all right. Again, to do with psychology. Uh, to my surprise, it wasn't really the mental health professional, but it was actually a conversation with one of the football coaches that sorted it out. So that's a prime example that someone from your own field who's had more experience than you might sometimes be the best person to deal with the most
Yes,
severe of situations.
yes, that's very true. That's
Yes.
what I also guide the young youth, that it's never too late. If you're feeling low, if you're feeling that you cannot do something well in your
Correct.
career, you can directly approach to your mentor. They are the best person to guide, and if not them, then counselors are the best person whom we can go. If
For
you're
sure.
not extended towards the psychologist, because sometimes these, and one main issue is the social media,
Yes. Yes.
because social media in ways is good also, in ways is bad also. So for
Yes.
young youth, I prefer that for us, we are exploring things, like for
Right.
promotion and all the stuff, we see a lot of things, we learn
Yeah.
also from social media. But for the young youth, it's barely an entertainment, and they are seeing all rubbish, scrolling on rubbish
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and then they will see this is happening, this is happening, and they have their mindset towards that, and they don't come to mentors.
Yeah.
Old school method was the best method, I feel.
Yeah.
That you
Okay.
didn't have any digital, social media,
Mm-hmm.
no Facebook, no Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
The main source is you have to go to your teacher and you have to ask that this is the problem. You let me explain me about this.
Right. But my view on social media is slightly different because social media has become so prevalent in everyday life right now, at least for the field I'm in, for footballers, young footballers. In fact, people who are 16 and above, I would actually recommend that they have a social media page. Reason being that, social media, yes, there are a lot of negatives. It's a very dangerous place to be in because it's not easy to filter out the rubbish from the good
I'm not talking.
contents.
I'm not saying that social media is not a good one,
Yeah.
but I'm telling that the usage should be in a way that helps you,
Yeah.
academically also.
Exactly. So the rubbish is one part, filtering out is difficult. But on
Yes.
the other hand, footballers would require, let's say, any match videos where they are playing well, any
Yes.
highlights, any, let's say, them showing off their daily routine of discipline. This is actually very can be very helpful with them getting a professional contract with a club. Because a lot of clubs, a lot of research they do before signing a player is actually they go and do due diligence on their social media to see that are they party animals, are they drinkers, are they smokers, or are they disciplined, are they are they away from trouble, are they away from the police, all that. This is where, again at Pune Pioneers, our social media manager conducts social media training with all the players to tell them exactly this difference, that social media can be amazing, but it can also be bad. So, it's all about how one runs their own social media, do it with responsibility. Of course, the other safety aspect that you don't know who you're talking to on the opposite end. It could be, let's say, it could be a pedophile, it could be anybody. So, it's, yeah, again,
That's
education.
one good, important, and very, very essential thing what your sports club is doing,
Yeah.
making young youth aware about that what is good and what is bad on social
Yeah.
media and how you have to filter it out.
Yeah, 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 definitely. So yeah, that's I think again another aspect that I'm proud of about our club.
So, what more about your club? How people can join?
Well, for our club, it's open to all now. For all the players who are players and their parents who are not in who are in Pune. We are based in the area of Kharadi on this marvelous 11-a-side pitch over 2 acres with ample. Of course, the ground is amazing, but for the parents, there's a wonderful coffee shop, restaurant right next to the pitch for them to sit and chat with their friends while their kid is at it. Ample parking space, clean washrooms, so a comfortable environment for now. So that's for all our local players, Pune based. Anyone now we are open. Pune Pioneers is open to people from all over the country. We in fact have we have I'll tell you where all we have players from. We have players from we have a big contingent of northeastern players: Manipur, Mizoram, Assam, Nagaland, Arunachal, Sikkim. Then we have players from West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Kerala, Uttarakhand, Maharashtra as well, Nepal. We have people from all over the country and beyond borders with us. It's open to every serious footballer all around, where we in this one year take care of everything, right from their stay to their food to, let's say, I mean, the moment they reach, getting them to our campus, ensuring that they have their induction, giving them a lot of matches, professional training. This program basically we train for 1.5 hours in the morning, 6 to 7:30 a.m., and then we again train for 1.5 hours in the evening. It's a very strenuous program, meant for serious footballers only. Of course, our fees are a few lakhs lesser than most football academies in the country. And I can tell you that if you ever go to our Instagram and see our facilities, compare it with a lot of the others, again, I'm proud, I'm arrogant over here to say that we are far better because I'm not a businessman. We didn't open this as a business. The dream is strictly on producing players for the Indian national team, and beyond that, players playing for European clubs. Now, every football club will sound like a salesman like me, selling the club, talking about everything great. I always tell parents, okay, while every football club is going to boast about their achievements, ask them what have they achieved so far. Now we say that we want to produce players for India. We have already produced a player for India. We want to produce players who go on to European clubs. We currently have two players, one playing in England, one playing in Poland. So we have already, we are not trying to achieve something out of the blue. All these big dialogues that I'm saying, we have already achieved that. So any parent who's going to be sending their kid to Pune Pioneers Football Club knows that we have been there, done that, and their kid is in safe hands.
So thank you so much, Ryan, to be on our podcast. Our viewers must have already seen what conversation we had, and it was a very impactful and a very inspiring conversation with you. For all the viewers who are really keen to join football as a career, here is your perfect coach, Ryan, and you can join his academy. And for more information, you can just go on my Instagram profile and search uh, Coach Ryan Training and Pioneer. Can you just tell your Instagram
Yes,
ID?
so basically our Pune Pioneers Football Club Instagram ID is PUNEPIONEERS FC, Pune Pioneers FC. You'll find everything about us. And also, I must compliment the podcast channel that you're running, because the guests you have had previously have been supremely insightful. And also, the magical part about today's conversation was that we spoke about football, but we spoke about so many other important aspects that usually I'm not asked on podcasts. It's usually very technical, all about the football part. So yeah, it was definitely insightful, very, very refreshing, and I really hope that your podcast channel goes to another height altogether. You've been absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ryan. And we are really happy to have you on our podcast because this is the first time we have taken an initiative towards something related to sports.
Yes.
Previously, we were only talking about mostly into soft skills or related to harassment and a lot of things about life coaching. But this is something very new to our podcast channel, and we were also dealing with a lot of actors. You must have seen my
Yes.
podcast.
Yeah.
There are only two of the podcasts which are really into sports and or really inspiring for me as well because I am a very lazy person in a sense that I want to join sports but then because of lack of time and the duration of work I have. But you really inspired and you also showed me a way path that sports is also having a lot of safety in terms for women as well. So thank you so much to be on our podcast and stick to the point that education is also very important because my
100%.
podcast is only into education. So all the podcasts, if you have viewed from starting to end, it's only talking about education in
Super.
any aspects. That's sports, that's into masters or into bachelors or any kind of trainings like AIML or AI trainings or into modeling or stuff, but only education related
Good.
stuff we are doing. And this is our concept only, and in that we have added this safety part also. So because the my logo is also saying the shaping the future together. This one of the vision which we are taking forward, vision and mission that all the young youth who are coming to get something out of this podcast is knowledge,
Yep.
is information, and is something related to fitness, health, and education. So thank you
Super.
so much. All the viewers, you can just go and follow Coach Ryan Training and Pune Pioneers FC so that you can join the football academy if you are really interested into football.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You can also tell your contact number. So after that, we will promote that as well.
Contact number again, publicly will be difficult, but Instagram, anyone can contact.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
Thank you.
thank you so much, Ryan, once again for joining our podcast, and it was amazing having you.
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise.
So we had Ryan on our podcast, and next series will be much more inspiring, and it will be interesting for you all because we'll find out more concepts, more things, and will come to you. Thank you so much.